that being said, though, I think we can move on to the next topic of Sony saying that they also want to grow PlayStation games on the PC. Hiroki Toki said that PC ports, for example, all of the PC ports that they've been having are really growing the PlayStation brand on PC. Oh,
yeah,
no shit.
Wow,
No shit.
really?
Wow.
Jeez. Tell me more.
Wow.
Give me more data. Gee, I could take Spider-Man 2 Final Fantasy right now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they need to close down on the release. I think it may be a development issue, right? Where it's just like, but if your intention is to release a game day and date PC, you could absolutely do it, right?
Everyone else does it.
Yeah, it just depends on I think they're just continuing to grow that because of the Sony exclusivity.
Yeah, people don't realize that. I feel like there is crossover, right?
Mm-hmm.
But of course they want to keep it timed exclusive because they want people to buy a PlayStation. But I don't know, man. That shit kind of gets old. Like, if it's a Sony published game, you making money anyway, bro. Like, people, I feel like with Helldivers 2, right? That game came out, everyone's buying it.
Perfect example.
Whether it's PC, PS5, whatever, it did really well on PC. That's still money in your pocket, right?
Well,
so,
yes.
I don't know.
But before we get deeper into this topic, I think what we need to talk about is what is the appropriate length of time that you think people are going to double dip ultimately, because that's where all the sales come from, right? Is people that have already bought the game and they're like, oh, well, my PC will run this game way better now, so I'm just buying it again, right?
I think it's probably in a minority, but I'm definitely one of them because I don't give a fuck if it's 6 months. Like, I'll buy it on PC. Like, remember Monster Hunter World came out in January. Yeah. And the PC version came out in like August or something like that. And I bought both because I was like, ain't no fucking way. Especially if it runs better. Like,
but
go ahead, Fala.
I guess there needs to be a period of time because if they were released at the same time, then I would just buy the PC version.
Yes.
And I wouldn't even fuck.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
But,
Like day and date
to the generation, if people are still waiting on a PS5. They're gonna continue to wait on a PS5 unless there's some crazy reason to buy one.
Well,
if they've waited 4 years to buy a PS5, then I don't know if it really makes a difference.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, let's say you have both, right? If a game releases day and date, if my PC runs it better, I'm buying it on PC, right?
Of course.
If it reaches a point where it's gonna run better on the PS5, I'm gonna buy it on PS5. But I'm not gonna double dip, so to speak. I think though, if they drop it Sony first, and then to me a sweet spot would be like 3 months.
Nah, I think it had to be like half a year. It had to be
You
like
think so? You think it's 6 months?
Yep.
Yes.
6 months.
Because why would I not wait 3 months?
I don't know, man.
Like,
that's what I'm asking. That's what I'm
a
asking.
long time.
I agree. I feel like a year is too long, but it still works.
Unless it's a multiplayer game like Monster Hunter, the only reason I bought it on console is because all my friends were playing it on console. So I would have waited until August. But I don't know. Like I said, I feel like the people that double dip are in the minority, but I also feel like it's two separate platforms where I wouldn't need numbers on this, but I don't feel like there's much. I'm sure there's a lot of crossover, but I don't think it's as much as we think. I feel like the people that are gonna buy something on PC are gonna buy it on PC anyway, but they have to wait a day, a year, 2 years. They're gonna buy it on PC. They're gonna be like, I'm just gonna wait for the PC version. I'm not buying a PS5. So I think Microsoft realized that, right? And I feel like Sony, I don't know, man. Sony's so caught up. Sony's still like living in like a decade ago, where like these exclusives are, we're gonna hammer down, get these exclusives so everybody buys our shit. If people want a PlayStation, they're gonna buy a PlayStation regardless. We know this now because the majority of PlayStation owners are playing what? Call of Duty,
nothing,
2K. They're not playing the exclusives. They're playing the multi-platform games, right? That they can easily play on PC, but they're not. So I don't know if the crossover, if there's that big of a crossover between PC and console yet. I don't know.
I think we definitely need numbers.
Yeah.
Or like if they're really that concerned. Nah, this is a bad idea. Fuck, I'm just gonna say it. Why don't you just like give me one bigger prize, say like $100, let's just say, but then you could play it
Oh, you get
on
both.
PS5 and you get both. Yeah.
Oh, actually,
Yeah, but I'm trying to
that
think,
worked.
right?
That worked a lot for what was it? Like was it like PS4 Vita
PS4,
or like
PS5
PS3
stuff. Yeah,
PSP
yeah.
shit?
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
like.
that's
And
cool.
PS4, PS5, like when they do
Mhm.
shit like that, like I don't know the sales numbers, but to me as a consumer, I really like that, and I'd be more likely to do that. Right?
Here's my
Yeah.
thing. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But my whole issue is, if let's say there is a bunch of crossover between console and PC, there are certain games that you know for a fact are system sellers, right? Like FF7 FF7 Rebirth, you know for a fact that there are people that are gonna go out and buy PS5s just for that game, right? Because there's no PC version in sight. Maybe a year from now or a year and a half from now we'll get that, right? But there are people that are gonna buy. I'm sure there are plenty of people that bought a PS5 for FF16. Like, personally, I don't think Horizon was a big console seller, right? I could be wrong.
They thought
think
it was.
Ratchet and Clank sold well, but I don't think it's a system seller. Demon Souls, I think, was a system seller. It was for me. But there's not many games that
How many
Sony
killer
has.
apps?
Maybe The Last of Us and Uncharted, right? Whatever. I don't want to talk
Ragnarok.
about those. But like, I don't think. Yeah, but wasn't Ragnarok on PS4?
Yes, it was. Wait,
Yeah, so
was
that's
it?
it.
I don't.
Wait, Ragnarok?
I don't remember. I
I'm
don't
pretty
think
sure
so.
it was just on 5.
Nope. 4 and 5.
It was
Yeah,
four.
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
Ragnarok was on PS4.
Yeah,
Yep.
And so was Horizon. So, like,
and
I don't know,
Ragnarok
man.
performed great on both. I don't know.
yeah, so when it comes to the games like FF, I understand. But all the other games, how long did it take Returnal to come to PC after PS4? Is that like a year?
I think it was about a year.
No,
yeah. I
8
think
months.
they've all
No,
been a
it's
year.
probably like 8 months.
That one was
Really?
probably the
8 months?
fastest, right? I think Returnal
Yeah,
was probably
Returnal
the
came out
fastest.
Yeah, it came out
We
pretty
can
fast
check,
actually.
because if we talk about all of the
Let's
PS
see.
PlayStation games to PC ports, it's been Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, what is it? Days Gone,
It was a
Last of
little
Us
less than a year.
Remaster,
It was like 10 months.
Returnal, Ratchet and Clank. All of those games, it's been about a year, right? Like,
But all of those games are not system sellers. You know what I mean?
I agree. They're not killer apps.
It's so weird to say because that's subjective, right?
Yeah,
Right.
because Ratchet and Clank could have been a killer app for somebody, right?
Yeah, like I bought a PS5 because of Demon Souls.
Demon
I knew
Souls,
Ratchet and
yeah.
Clank was coming, and I knew I don't remember what the fuck else it was, but those two games sold me on a PS5. But I'm pretty sure there's millions of people that don't give a fuck about either one of those. Or Spider-Man makes sense, right? That's Spider-Man so like fucking mainstream that's a console seller,
Spider-Man.
right?
At least
Yeah. But when it
Spider-Man
comes to
2
games like
definitely probably
FF7
sold some
Remake, bro,
consoles.
you know that's a fucking, especially in Japan, they're gonna eat that shit the fuck up, right?
Of course.
So
Bundle that shit off rip, you know?
But then again, that's up to Sony, right? Like I don't know the numbers. That's up to Sony to determine whether or not a game that they put out deserves to be on PC day and date or 6 months later or a year. Because I'm sure they knew that Helldivers wasn't gonna be a console seller, so they just put it on PC day and date, right? They know no one's gonna care to buy a PS5 for Helldivers 2. You know what I'm saying?
No,
They're not losing out on console sales for Helldivers 2. So I feel like that's their approach, and that's probably gonna be their approach moving forward. Like there's smaller games, especially 4 years in. There's smaller games that are gonna probably come out. Hopefully with the news and that statement they made, I feel like maybe 6 months is probably what they're gonna do. 6 months, 8 months. Returnal was what, 10?
It's gonna be a year. It's gonna
Like-
be a year. It's gonna be a year.
I don't know. I mean, a year is still.
I
better
don't
than
want
a
it
lot
to
of other
be.
shit.
I mean,
Like,
I don't want it to be, right? Because it's just now I'm just salty waiting for the game, right? I feel like
Yeah.
a year makes me salty. 6
I don't
months,
know.
I could do 6 months.
I feel like if
Like-
I don't buy a console, then I don't have the right to be salty because I could have just bought it. Like, just buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, but
If-
the thing is,
if it's
like,
gonna
I don't
make you
want to
salty,
just
then
buy
just buy
it.
it.
Just a, yeah, but I don't want to just
you
buy a
can't get
console
salty
just
then.
for. But the thing is, it's like if there was a slew of games that I wanted to play, I would definitely buy it and not have zero regrets. But if I'm gonna buy this just for this one game, like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like nowadays there just need to be a blanket of good, like,
Yeah.
Like, it can't just be one game. I don't think anything is tied to just one game when you do it, and then it's just like, to me, you know, and the only exception is maybe that Hideo Kojima freaking Metal Gear game that he's gonna release in 2030.
Yeah.
That one, because every time I bought a PS3, it was because of a Metal Gear game.
Yeah, so it's subjective. Like, it doesn't. The game that makes you buy a console is just different for you. Like, I'm sure, like, if it was me and FF7 came out and I didn't have a PS5, I would buy it just for that and not give a fuck about anything else. So that's just subjective. But I wouldn't be mad, right? I'd just be like, well, I gotta wait. I either gotta buy it or I gotta wait. That's it.
I mean, I don't mind waiting, but fucking don't make me wait 80 years.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I don't know. A year makes me salty. Like,
I think this has been a growing issue where it just gets so costly to make a game and to take a chance on a game, right? Because if you think about the games that used to drop when the PlayStation launched, there used to be a bunch of titles where they would just take a chance on, and it's just like it's too costly now for these games.
Let's be real. There weren't many consoles that I feel like the consoles that had good launch lineups are in the minority. Like,
yeah, true. I agree.
I don't know, and like I said, that's subjective too, right? Because I personally don't think I enjoyed the GameCube launch games, but that wasn't a great launch. I enjoyed, obviously, what the first thing I think of is N64 because Mario 64 was that game, right?
That was that.
Like,
yeah,
Mario 64 was that game.
I don't think anything got better than Mario 64, to be honest.
Like, PS2, only launch games I remember on PS2 was like Dead or Alive, Hardcore.
Ugh. Dark Cloud.
Dark Cloud. What else did I get at launch? I don't even remember, bro. I don't even remember. Xbox, Halo, right? The only good launches I can remember, the 360 had a great launch.
The 360 definitely had a great launch. They had Gears of War.
I don't know. Like, I feel like, the consoles that had good launch lineups are definitely in the minority. So I feel like
they took chances. They took chances on some games too, though, because like PS4 came out and everyone likes to meme, but like Knack, like a game like Knack, right? Like, how much did a game like Knack take to develop? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure it didn't cost that much, to be honest.
I don't know.
Because that game was ass. Like, technology
listen, there's some people who like Knack out there, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like I said, that's why I think it's subjective, because what you think is a good launch lineup, I don't think is a good launch lineup.
Exactly.
And I definitely don't. And PS4 had one of the worst launch lineups, period.
Yes, but then there's also like, there's the launch titles, but then there's also the games that came out 3 to 6 months post-launch too.
And it still sucked.
Some games, no, I'm just saying, some consoles had stronger releases in that time frame. Yeah, the launch windows, because the Switch didn't have shit on launch, but it had a good
the best launch window since PS2, I believe. So I don't know. That's not saying much.
PS3, I don't remember the PS3 launch.
Exactly.
I don't. PS4, I remember, because I remember.
I don't even think did it even launch with Uncharted 1? I don't think so.
No, hell no. That came out like way later.
No.
Heavenly Sword was a launch title.
Heavenly Sword.
Yeah.
Panzer Dragoon.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but that shit threw me for a loop. But like the Switch also had like not a lackluster launch.
No, that's false as fuck. Because it doesn't matter. Because the Switch had Mario Kart, so that does not count. It does not matter. Look, I'm sorry. I know it was a Wii U game, but
that's what
Mario Kart is such a beast that it doesn't matter. Like, because how many people that bought a Switch that never got a Wii U ever? So basically, Mario Kart and DOS was basically a brand new game.
That's true, but that's what I mean. Like those retail launches versus like games that came out
was godlike at launch.
Oh, I loved ARMS. I bought it.
Everybody was playing but
ARMS didn't come out at launch.
It came out like the next month.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's not like launch. When I say launch titles, I'm talking about like day and date. Like the game, the system comes out. I don't know about that.
if you want to talk a launch window, that's like Mario Odyssey, which came out later in the year.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But a month, bruh. I don't know. And hello, it launched with Zelda and it launched with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Zelda
Come
was
on, bro.
also on.
It doesn't matter because no one.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about like they're not. Yeah, the Switch is not a great comparison. That's why I say like, but like as far as like Switch
because
exclusive titles, you know what I mean?
PS4, right? Everyone bought a 360 before Xbox One. No one bought a Wii U, so that console didn't even exist basically.
That's what started it. Yeah.
Like, but that's hard, man. Because that is so rough. Because even the launch window games are enough, like you said, to get people on board, right?
But let's say you're a Wii U owner and the Switch is coming out and you see these launch titles and you're like, I'm not buying that shit yet.
No one is gonna say that. I don't think so. I don't think so, bro. Because the Wii U was, I don't know. For me personally, this is just me. The Wii U had this aura, right, of a flop. It was a flop, obviously, but it had this aura of something that you knew they were trying to rush out. As soon as they announced the Switch, you knew they were trying to just completely erase the Wii U from existence.
Yes,
right?
True.
So
based
everybody on Wii U knew that this was the end. It's time to buy a Switch. Like,
yeah, but to be real though, if I had bought a Wii U, I would have been mad super salty about the Switch. That's probably because like I just bought a fucking console. Like, I
don't know.
And then you're gonna buy something like super similar, like I don't know. And like it wasn't even
highly. I think it's highly.
You know, the upgrade
right?
from the
it is because to me, I bought a Wii U at launch. Like
in my perspective, I feel like the technical advances from the Wii U to the Switch wasn't that much to me, other than the portability of it.
Yeah, so like, I feel like everyone knew that. That's why I mentioned that aura of floppery, right? No,
because I'm playing devil's advocate because I bought a Switch and everyone was like complaining about like, oh, it's lackluster in launch titles, and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I never played any of these games, right?
No one ever played anything on the Wii U.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying like
you also have to think about the Switch, right? The Switch didn't just launch with Wii U games. Like the Switch, when they announced it, they showed Mario Odyssey, they showed Xenoblade, they showed ARMS, they showed Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Then the next few months later, they showed like Smash. You know what I'm saying? They showed
games that were coming down the pipe
that were
in that same year. Yeah.
So they were basically telling you the Wii U is done. Like, sorry. Like, and everyone that bought a Wii U, we knew that already. Like, as soon as we had like a whole year where we didn't get shit. Like we knew that shit was over.
Oh shit!
The way Nintendo treated the Wii U
was right. I mean, they was justified. It flopped. It was trash. Like if something you made is trash and it's not selling, you gotta recoup. You have to make a console ASAP, right? Yeah. They had to do that. Like so, anybody, I feel like any intelligent human being wouldn't be mad at that. If you don't know what's going on, like let's say you're completely detached from the internet, right? And you bought a Wii U.
People are completely detached. Yeah, absolutely.
Nowadays, no, you're right. Nowadays, not a lot of people are, but you are right. But the thing is, if you are in the know, like, you know that it was a smart move that they made. You can't sit here. You can't own a Wii U and be like, and actually, if you are detached from the internet, then just keep your Wii U and keep playing your Wii U games then. What the fuck? Like,
the thing is, I ran out of Wii U games to fucking buy.
Well, bro, buy the Switch.
Like, if you're a Wii U owner right now, you're looking at the PlayStation Portal and you're like, see, the Wii U was a good idea.
No, I'm not. The Wii U sucked. You ain't never gonna get me to say that Wii U was good.
I'm trying to be nice.
I'll be devil's advocate because I loved fucking Mario 3D World. I liked Smash 4. Right, I liked
Mario Kart 8.
Yeah, I liked the Twilight. I'm not Twilight Princess. Was it Twilight Princess HD? Yeah, no, Wind Waker. The Wind Waker remake I thought was dope. Xenoblade Chronicles X was dope. Bayonetta 2 was dope. You know what I'm saying? So I don't regret buying it. But that console was shit. I like Pikmin 3. Right, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
But they marketed it. They marketed it like shit too because it was a Wii HD with a gamepad, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's essentially what it was.
And they
marketed it like shit. And as a result, like even I will not say like it's like a because it's not like a bad console. Garbage. It was a good like upgrade.
Yes, no, listen,
it's a because the thing is
garbage.
Because I'm not even looking at it as like this is like if you look at PS3 to PS4, I look at it more as like a PS4 to PS4 Pro. No. Like it's like here's a Wii Pro, like a Wii Pro, right?
I don't think so because here's the thing, and this is why I'm looking at my Switch right now, and the Switch is what they wanted the Wii U to be. Period. You can tell that this is what they were trying to do with the Wii U.
Yeah.
But that Wii branding did so well for them. The Wii did so well for them that they had to kind of keep it. They thought that keeping it similar was a safe bet. Now,
if that was their mistake, though.
Like, now, let's say, what if they called it something else? You think that they called it Wii 2?
Wii 2?
They called it something else?
No. They should have called it Wee Wee.
Shut the fuck up. I mean, Wii sounds just as dumb as Wii U. So, because I'm thinking Wii U is such a stupid name, bro.
Wii Play.
And people looked at it as a attachment. Like they saw the gamepad and they thought, I could just buy the gamepad. It's an attachment for the Wii U or something.
Yeah. They fucked up completely with that. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. You could just tell that the Switch is what they really. That's probably what they had in the back of their head, but they fucked it up.
Well, not only that, but they had zero third-party support. So while they didn't,
they tried to at the beginning because remember they had COD, they had Mass Effect, they had hella shit, they had all the NBA shit, they had a lot of third-party shit at launch. But the problem with that thing was it launched, didn't it launch before PS4 and Xbox One?
Yes, it did.
It launched a year before, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
And then it was stuck in this spot where it's like, this is still a last gen console, right? Because the Wii U was basically a glorified PS3 360, right? So that was the problem.
It's like Sony still making PS2 games when they're developing PS3 games, kind of thing.
Was it 2011?
No, 2012. Wii U released November 18, 2012, while the PS4 and
2013?
the Xbox One launched 2013. Roughly, like in short order.
You see how silly that is? That was so silly.
Their whole
they basically launched a last gen console when next gen consoles were coming out. What? That's crazy if you think back in hindsight. Mm-hmm. They were cocky as fuck for that. Wow. They thought the Wii was gonna they thought that Wii name was gonna fucking do wonders for them again.
Gonna carry this shit.
Nah, man. I love Nintendo. Y'all know I'm probably the biggest Nintendo shill, but that shit was garbage.
Their back broke and spinal.
They got caught lacking.
They definitely got caught lacking. I don't know.
You guys remember I bought my Switch begrudgingly. But in hindsight. But in hindsight, it was the best investment I ever made. To be honest, I was more happy getting that over the PS5.
You just being that guy that sits on the side and be like, man, I don't want that shit.
No, man, because to me, it was just super gangster Nintendo. Because I just didn't felt like the Switch was such a technological jump. And I remember I grew up in the age of. I grew up in the age where shit, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just So for me, it was just like, what the fuck is this shit? The
way that I guess they wanted us to think about it was, this was them saying sorry for the Wii U, right?
Yeah.
This was their, man, we know the Wii U sucked, man, but here's our vision. Here's what we really wanted to do. Hope you guys buy this shit, right? Yeah, and luckily, it worked out for them.
I like the idea of the Switch off rip. When I saw that first trailer, I said, "Wow, this might."
And I was like, "Damn, this is cool."
I was like, "This might actually be a game changer," and it was. In retrospect, it absolutely was, because now we have the handheld PC market and all kinds of shit going on.
You want to say who won the console war that generation? The Switch.
Definitely in that. You know what's really weird about that, right? Remember the Wii? Remember how no one even talked about the Wii in comparison to PS3 360? But it sold keep in mind it was the biggest juggernaut. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Yeah. I'm over here playing Zelda. I'm like, oh man, I don't know. It's crazy how Nintendo just carves out their own shit.
Mm-hmm. And that's why they go about things in their own way. And then
speaking of console sellers,
Switch too,
can Sony and Microsoft just take those from Nintendo again, like they did in the past? Because Nintendo is clearly the biggest. It was the biggest inspiration for these motherfuckers, and then they got their heads up their asses. All right, like
yeah, but then they end up copying everything Nintendo does. The directs, the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo was actually ahead of that shit, surprisingly.
So, this is going on a tangent,
Nintendo
but imagine if Nintendo, their next console, we all know it's not going to be that much more powerful than whatever, but imagine if it's on par with like an Xbox Series S or fucking mid-range PC, maybe equivalent to slightly less powerful than a PS5 and whatever. Could you imagine how godlike that would be? Like, I know it's 4 years in. I know it's kind of late, but that would still be insane for a Nintendo console, bro.
Absolutely. Like, if they drop the Switch 2 and that shit is beyond what the Steam Deck can do right now,
damn,
that shit'll it's gonna explode.
Imagine.
And it's very likely because they here's the smart thing about Nintendo is that they've been partnering as far as the Switch goes with Nvidia, where the consoles are AMD, right? Like, I hate to be the person that fuels that kind of PC space, but ultimately, like, Nvidia, there's a reason why they're charging outrageous prices for their GPUs as opposed to AMD, right? Like, it's just they're that much ahead of the curve and better as far as things go, right?
The interesting part about that is what the fuck are they gonna name it? Because I guarantee they're gonna call it the Switch U.
They're gonna call it the Switch 2, I'm sure.
They're gonna call it
I don't think it's
Switchy
gonna be called Switch 2. I don't know, man.
What if they just call it the Switch It Up?
I think it's gonna be. Oh my god. I think it's gonna be a completely different thing. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Swatch. Switch Swatch.
The Swatch.
Oh,
Super Nintendo Switch is actually probably a good one. That's probably
that's not bad.
Super Nintendo Switch.
That was
that's actually sick.
That's actually pretty sick, actually.
Yeah.
I think that's likely.
Yeah, that makes sense. But the thing is, if they call it Super Nintendo, it depends on what it is, bro. If it's just an upgraded Switch, then yeah. But if it's some this Nintendo we're talking about, man, you never fucking know, dude.
SNES, baby.
These motherfuckers just be doing I'm sad, bro.
We went on a super tangent.
I mean, to be fair, we technically weren't, because we were talking about like launch titles and shit, and then we ended up going on this shit.
It's all been related.
But relating to PlayStation,
Xbox, selling consoles, shit like that. Yeah. PC, we were talking about.
The PlayStation PC. Yeah.
I mean, it's all related because as of right now, we are, I don't want to say predicting, we're theorizing the next generation of consoles, which is coming up. This
podcast is literally just tangents. Who cares?
Yeah, it's coming up.
I mean,
with the
but
next
to be
Switch.
real, we call shit like 80 years ahead. I mean, we called literally this entire fucking Microsoft podcast.
Whatever the Switch, we're gonna know what the next Switch is gonna be called relatively soon. I'm thinking sometime next month.
They said it might get. They said it got delayed. It might get delayed till next year. So maybe we won't.
2025, early 2025.
Okay.
So.
I think. Okay, so I think at least if it gets delayed as a development, I think we'll hear about it. Yeah, by like June to the end of the year, right?
We'll know by June.
The later half
definitely
of the year.
Know by
yeah,
June.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be an interesting thing with that. We're gonna see what
Bayonetta 2 was the best launch title of all time.
We're gonna see what PS5 is gonna do. If they're gonna do what they're gonna do with the PS5 Pro, we're gonna see what Microsoft is gonna do. Are they gonna do a half console generation?
Come out at launch.
We don't know.
It came out a year later. God damn it! That wasn't even a launch title.
Oh man.
The Wii U sucked.
Selective memory.
You know it's not coming out a year later?
I remember I bought a fucking Wii U for Bayonetta 2 because I remember they announced that shit, and it didn't come out until like a year later. Fuck.
You know it's not coming out a year later. This podcast is coming out next week. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, join us, listen to us in the live show. We had a bunch of people in the chat today. Shout out to all you guys in the chat. It was the segue of the console generation, bro. It's a PS5 Pro of segues.
You gonna let him get away with that one?
Yes, you will.
Wow.
With that being said, guys, tune in. Thanks for listening.
It's not over yet.
We'll be back next week.
Talking.
Fucking will check you guys out next week. Stay tuned. Check us out on all major platforms. Tune in on whatever platform you want to. Tune into the live chat. Join us in the conversation. You guys can type in and chat and see what goes on and hear the after, which we're going to have plenty of after right now tonight. So stay tuned. Have a good night, y'all. And we'll talk to you next week.